Hello, 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 and welcome to Live, Laugh, Blah. How's everyone doing? Stefan's tests are not passing. My domains are not working. I'm being extorted by my health insurance company. But I have a shiny new thing to show off. My name is Jen Schiffer. I'm an artist, a web developer, and every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, I stream. And today was going to be a special one, but then due to certain circumstances, it's actually going to be more special than I anticipated. So if you're here live, hello, welcome. Let me know how the audio is going. And if you're watching the video on demand later, thank you for watching. Let me know how the audio is going in the comments. So let's figure out what's going on. So I'm currently figuring out, well, I realized that my website domains were not working. I figured it was a glitch issue, and I posted about a Mastodon, and Kevin, thank you, Kevin, was like, check the status page, which I did, but I thought that the network maintenance was about something else. I missed that it called out that original glitch custom domains are not rounded projects, but it's not just jenschiffer.com, which is a legacy domain on glitch. Make8bitart.com, which is using a Fastly TLS certificate, that's also not working. So something's up. Stefan says you need to talk slower for the future people because they're watching at 2x speed. I am a 2x speed watcher, and actually a really funny thing, also, before I get into the really funny thing, upstairs is doing some kind of construction, and it's very disruptive. Actually, it doesn't even sound like construction. It sounds like they're playing soccer with a side table. Anyway, the funny thing about 2x speed, I watch YouTube at 2x speed often, but there are people in this world and online, company included, who talk so fucking fast that you have to like take it down to 1.5x. And so whenever I would take time off at glitch, I would come back and I would watch any of the like all hands meetings I might have missed, and I would watch it 2x speed. But if it ever got to the point that me or Anil were talking, I'd have to lower the speed. Now, I'm not in those meetings, so I'm not talking about myself, but Anil normally talks fast, and so I have to lower it to listen. But then other meetings that I'm rewatching that I'm in, I notice, oh, I have to lower the speed if I wanted to understand what I was saying. So maybe that should be something I am mindful of talking slowly for the speed watchers. It's really funny when I'm watching YouTube at 2x speed and Andy like will walk in and it sounds insane to him. He'll just be walking by and I'm just like sitting here paying attention, and from the computer's like and I understand what's going on, but if you do not have the context of like being in front of what is playing, it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. But yeah. So, let's see. And Stefan says, any training videos, I jump into the browser console and go like 3x speed. Yeah, when I learned how to use developer tools to increase the speed, that made, especially like when there are docs for certain projects that have embedded video and they don't have the controls on it. I don't know. It's nice. It's nice that the web allows that. What the web doesn't allow are my domains to work. So jenschiffer.com is down. Make8bitart.com, I'm getting another Fastly related issue, but I am using Fastly TLS certs for make 8-bit art. And Genshiver being down, that uses the legacy domain. That is what Kevin was saying. We've made some networking changes and projects are running as expected. A remaining side effect is that original glitch custom domains, legacy, are not routing to projects, including glitch.new functionality. Glitch.new is a legacy domain for the glitch.new project. We hope to restore that functionality in the next few days. Hey guys, what does next few days mean? It's like not a huge deal. I could just go into my DNS provider and just set a forward to genshiver.com to genshiver.glitch.me, and I'll probably do that and figure out what my options are. That legacy domain feature has been like hanging on a thread in a moment for like 4 years now, so it was only a matter of time before it got fucked. Let's see. I'm checking Andy's website, and that one's also down. Glitch.com domains are down, FYI. That includes your website. Are you streaming? I am streaming, yeah. Andy asked if I was streaming. I'm talking to him and then talking to Stefan in the chat. Anyway, there should be no impact on access to glitch.com. Yeah, I have no other issues with glitch, so I could still work on my website, because you'll just have to go to genshiver.glitch.me. But the fact that the status page only acknowledges the custom domains and not... I mean, it's still... the issue is glitch being an origin. So if anybody in the glitch team is watching this, it's not just the legacy custom domain, it's the idea of like a glitch app as an origin to a custom domain too, for some reason. So anyway, let's get into it. So let's see. Last that I streamed a week ago, this upstairs knocking around is driving me insane. So I did a few things. I wrote a list. I couldn't stop coding. I was like, I am on the computer, I'm gonna keep going. And I know that I ended the stream wanting to do a number of things. I wanted to make sure that my image gallery was keyboard accessible, because that wasn't the case, and I wanted to do that ASAP, and so that's why I continued, and then I just continued working on various features. So let's open a preview in a new window. So visually, I updated the background to have a lavender background instead of white. I realized that the lack of contrast between the background and the foreground boxes was making it hard to read. At least it was for me. So I added this nice lavender background. And I also have the same color scheme options for drawing the background as when you have dark mode. So just very purple, like it matches my purple iMac. So there's that. I updated my art page. Okay, so another thing that I did was when you before this change, if you were to open up any of these project draggy div boxes and then refresh the page, they would be minimized again. I wasn't saving the state of what things were open. And I know that it would be nice to be able to send somebody to a watercolor project. And so one way of keeping a state of a page that can be persistent and shared via URL is by adding a query parameter to the URL and having that maintain the state. So see up here, we're at genshiver.glitch.com/art. And look at that URL box closely when I click watercolor projects. So boom, I have the page watercolors, and it opens up, the box is open. So now if I refresh the page, watercolor projects is going to remain open. And then if I close it, there's nothing there. If I open up multiple boxes, it'll be like comma separated. That's what that %2c is. Watercolors, digital. And it just maintains the state of what boxes are open. This will be helpful for when I want to share specific projects by URL. I'll go into the code of how I did that in a bit. The other thing I wanted to do for like mobile in particular is when you expand a box, it just scrolls down to where that box is. Otherwise, if you just like before, when you clicked it, it would open up further down the page, but like nothing happened. And so I can imagine you being like, okay, now what? Why would you know to scroll to the bottom? You didn't build the web page. So yeah, so expanding, scrolling to new background colors, top of DD. What is that? I don't know. I like wrote my notes on a post-it note and then I spilled water all over it. So love that. Okay, another thing is we were working on the modal. So you'll notice that the modal opens and by default it opens up the first image. And this is now keyboard accessible. I'm just using my keyboard now to tab through and hit enter to open up the different thumbnails. Grimace. You can hit escape to close, hit enter to open again. So yeah. Stefan says if you can link a project, maybe you can set up the social media meta tags for preview cards. Yeah, like if you have like, well, one thing is right now, like a project would be what this modal is. So what I would want to do is update the URL to reflect, like right now it says #pixel watercolor sketchbook. What I just need to do is update the code to be like, if you see this, open the modal associated with that, and then have it here. And then like knowing that you can update, anything in the page with social cards, stuff like that. So yeah, this is my little image gallery. I like how it turned out. Let's look at the code. And I think that's it of the changes I made. But yeah, let's look at the code. Gamer fuel today is sugar-free fruit punch. And then a hot coffee with vanilla oat milk. Is it oat milk? I think it's oat milk. Yeah. Okay. Code real quick. So let's see. Actually, good way to do this is open up the rewind feature. So last stream was the 15th at like 4 something. So let's 15th? Yeah, 15th. And I think I streamed for like a few hours. Yeah. 3, 4. And then 10:20 p.m. is when the edible hit. That's when I started doing a lot more. So I'm not going to actually rewind the page. I'm just going to do it so we can see the diff. So we did the site last updated to the 21st. This is the changes between now and the last stream. I added a link to, this might be just like a linter change. Updated some copy, some emoji. Oh, this is another linter change. Okay, so that's index. Oh, I removed some old files from past iterations of genshifter.com. So I removed a Snowpack folder, Firebase. I don't even know what PM2 is. Okay, for art, that's a linter. That's a linter change. I think all the copy on the art page, I didn't actually do anything. I think it was mostly JavaScript. Graph paper. I just set both light colors and dark colors to be the indigo, black, dark violet, dark slate blue. That was it, because I changed the background of the page to be lavender, and I kind of like the purples. But I kept the 2 separate variables for light colors and dark colors. That way, if I go in and want to add something to light colors, it won't affect dark colors, blah, blah, blah. Future-proofing my propensity to change things that don't need to be changed. Draggy divs. Did a lot of stuff on Draggy divs. So Draggy divs is my library that I originally made for make 8-bit art, blah, blah, blah. It's what makes this happen. Everything from like the boxes, buttons like working, to being able to move it around, to closing it, the menu here. That's all Draggy divs. And now this is where I updated it so that it would add the query parameter for page. So we have to start by getting the window URL, the window location, because if I open up there's 2 situations we're talking about. One, you've gone to a page and it has Draggy divs loaded, and the query parameter shows that some of them should be open. So we have to look at that query parameter and open whatever boxes are associated with those values. And then the other thing is you've been on the page and you opened up a Draggy div and you want the URL to reflect that. So it's just maintaining and listening to the state of the boxes. And so I like pulled out, I created a new function, expand Draggy div. I have minimize, but I wanted to expand because, again, now not only am I just expanding when I click the menu, but I'm also expanding if the URL has a query parameter. And so it was just time to pull this into its own function because there's 2 reasons to use it. And just like kind of moving, refactoring that stuff. And then like at the bottom, when you're first loading, if the Draggy divs data Draggy page values in the URL expand. And so we see if the Draggy div has a data set value for it. Cause like this is only being used right now on the art page. If you open and close on the home page, the URL is not changing. And that's just because I didn't give them the data values. This is specifically the art page I'm trying it out on. I split the params by comma. And if the params includes that Draggy page, I call that expand Draggy div function on it. And if Draggy divs contains Draggy div and it close, oh, and this I already like had before. This is, you can start, in order to have some of the Draggy divs close initially, like, there's nothing closed initially on the home page. You see there's no buttons here, but if you click on the art page, we by default have digital projects and watercolor projects closed. All I do in the HTML is I add the Draggy divs init closed. class to them, and when the page loads, it will call minimize draggy div. So we have expand draggy div and minimize draggy div. I will pop this into its own glitch app so you can remix and use. But there's a lot more I want to do with this little JavaScript library to kind of, well, one, I want to document it, but I want to like kind of further decouple it. So that was the draggy divs, and then script, let's see. I did a bunch of stuff for the modal because I wanted the first image to show by default. Otherwise, if you open the modal, you would just see the thumbnails, and then you had to click, and then it would like push the thumbnails down to show an image. And so let's see where that's, get current gallery image figure. So we get the current figure. There's there's like a sourceless image tag in a figure element above those thumbnails. And we start by just getting the first image and setting that image's source as the gallery image. I comment a little bit of this stuff. The thumbnails of my images, I'm using glitch assets, and let me get out of rewind so I can show you. So I have these images here. For asset, you can do before the file name thumbnails. So that's what I'm using, the thumbnails as the image thumbnails, but when I click that first image, I want to set the preview to be not the thumbnail because the thumbnails are small. So that's why I have get original image. So you just give it a URL, say if the URL has thumbnails in it, return the URL without it. So it's literally just url.replace thumbnails. I love how that works for now. Who knows? Yeah. Let's see. And then for style, let's open up Rewind again. I changed the background to lavender. The highlight color right here from lime to violet. I really am kind of outing myself as an enjoyer of the color purple. I've always said like blue is my favorite color, but to me purple is kind of blue. But you know, like people who like purple like can't like it normally. This is me making fun of Anil, but most importantly, my department chair when I started at Montclair State, Dorothy Dreamer, she loved purple. She wore purple all the time. A lot of our recruiting materials and stuff were purple. She was dyslexic, and so the most dyslexia friendly web font is Comic Sans, so a lot of our stuff was in Comic Sans, and people are like, why is it Comic Sans? And it's like, because it's, I don't know, she's not the only person I know who's dyslexic that has said that Comic Sans like is easy for them to read, and that's because every character looks significantly different from each other, so it's just easier. I don't know, so I like grew an affinity for purple and also Comic Sans. Let's see, what else did I do? Just some like margin stuff. Oh, I set the max width for the art to be 536 because it just looked right, and sometimes that's what I do. Whatever looks right. Anyway, that's a lot of change on my website. You can go to jennifer.glitch.me, not jennifer.com, because nope. Damn, how are the kids gonna get their make 8-bit art? You know, a lot of teachers have their students use make 8-bit art. Damn. Wait a second. Okay, there are people on it. Want me to show you the analytics for make 8-bit art? I don't think there's anything secret on this page. Let's talk about analytics. So make 8-bit art. Let's look at the last 7 days. So make 8-bit art generally is very busy during weekdays. See, it's quiet during the holidays. It's very school year oriented. I would say most of the people that are using make 8-bit art are coming from their classroom pages. A lot of teachers will have resources for their students, like websites you can go to if you finished your assignment, and these have been deemed safe. A couple of times teachers have reached out to me, and I've done audits, like walkthroughs of code to show that, like, actually this is why make 8-bit art on Glitch is so great, because it's like, oh, you can view the code and see I'm not saving or logging anything. It's all client side. And so a lot of teachers will send their students to that. I don't know what ChatGPT is telling them. But, like, some of these are very obviously school. Adam's computer class. I love that. I love, like, that's one of my favorite things about make 8-bit art. But you see it's dramatically down during Christmas, and then when school's back in session, it comes up. And sometimes there's upwards of like 1,000 visits in a day. I don't put ads on make 8-bit art, so if you want to put ads on it, I'm not interested, but it is interesting to see. This is December. Let's look. Now, make8bitart.com is a progressive web app, but if the domain connection doesn't work, you're hosed. But, like, I can go to .glitch.me, and here I am. And then plausible, I don't know, oh, current visitor, so that's me. I'm on it right now. If you're looking for like an analytics tool that's not Google Analytics, I kind of like Plausible. I forget how much I pay per month. Plausible pricing. I think I pay $9 per month. Because I just track jenschiffer.com, make8bitart.com, and Live Laugh blog. And you can do up to 10 sites. So anyway, I like Plausible. People heart Plausible. Wait, who are these people down here? I don't know any of them. Oh, this fucking guy. Oh, this fucking guy too. These two. Get them off the homepage. Respectfully. With peace and love. Okay. done talking shit on that. I can probably close Fastly status knowing it's not a Fastly issue. But yeah, that's what I did on my site so far. Okay. Before I get into coding, I did say I have some candles to show you. It's also really cold out. I have to acknowledge that. I have my like big, thick, heavy flannel that I just thrifted. It's like, it says 20 degrees. This morning I went to therapy, and at like 9 a.m. the feel like temperature was 8 degrees. It was frigid, but it wasn't windy, and so I actually kind of liked it. It's kind of nice making it all the way into the city and not sweating. I do prefer the cold. I just do not like the wind. But I also like am a little less than a month away from getting a haircut, and I'm way overdue because my hairstylist, I think she's in Lisbon right now. So I have my hat on. Okay, I don't need this note anymore. I just went through all of it. Okay, let's see. So I went to therapy this morning, and the stand that this microphone came with is a piece of shit, and it's fucking not staying. So I went to therapy this morning. It was really, really cold out, and on the way back to the PATH station, I stopped by Blick, which is an art store, a chain art store. They're like all over the place, but they're like the Manhattan chain art store, because I needed a few things. One thing I've complained about on the stream is that my size 8 round brush is like broken. It's like falling apart. Like it's literally the varnish of the stick is like ruining. It's like dropping. So I got a new one. I got the Utrecht. Utrecht is what Blick used to be. I guess like Blick acquired Utrecht or the other way around. So I got like the name brand. This is like the Pathmark of paintbrushes. Still expensive though. $15.12 for size 8. This is like, I just have to like take this apart and like glue it back. And then it should be fine. And then I'll remove all this finish and stuff, and then I'll have 2 brushes. Although this one is less rounded. I don't know, the new one is not as frazzled, which makes sense. That's what happens to brushes. But I got that, and then I needed a kneaded eraser. These are just like gray gummy erasers. My other one melted. It was disgusting. I needed one, and I went to grab it, and I picked it up. It was a blue one, and the blue was like gooey, and it like got on my hand and my shirt. It was disgusting. And so then I was like, I should look at other erasers that I have that I haven't used in a bit. I had to throw out a few erasers. I don't know if it's like a heat thing or if it's just like they were old, but I had like a kneaded eraser I was using, and I went through it, and that's why I went to look for this other one. So it's one of those things where when you need it, it's not there. But when you do need it, it's melting all over you. They're cheap though. This one, I got the Prismacolor one. Excellent for removing or highlighting pencil, chalk, charcoal, and pastel. This is $1.35. It was cheaper than the actual Blick ones. So the Blick ones are bigger. And if you've never used a kneaded eraser before, you can knead them. Knead, like Kneadded. Kneadded. Let's see. And it's like malleable. You can erase pencil just by pressing it. That's why this is good. And if you really need to get into like a nook and cranny, you can like move the eraser and like just tap it. It's a very versatile, nice eraser to have. And they're cheap. But if you leave it around for a while, you don't use it, it might melt and get gooey everywhere, which is nasty. So there's that. And then the last thing I got from Blick was a Uniball Signo, like a white. This is my favorite white gel pen. If you needed to like highlight something, like if you're drawing, I don't draw manga, but like those artists really like do a great job at like highlights of like eye, like a little shimmer in the eye, and more often than not, it's a white gel pen that they're using. And I went to grab mine the other day, and I grabbed it, and because these don't last forever. It's a gel pen, and depending on how you store it, whatever conditions there are, sometimes the ink like separates or shifts to the bottom of the, I don't know. I'm a fan of pens, but I don't know how they work. See, this is like the gel pen insert. You can tell because it's got the clear gooey gel, and then there's the ink. Sometimes this will like bubble or like move away, the gel shifts upward, and then like there's no way for the ink to get to the top. It's annoying, but it happens. That's why I would never invest in like a ginormous kit of gel pens. Unless like I actually needed all those colors. Some people I see on their desk, like in YouTube videos, they'll have like over 100 gel pens. And it's like, also they're storing them very poorly. And I'm just like, those are not going to last forever. How do you feel about gel pens? Sound off in the comments. That was my show and tell from Blick. Have any of you bitches been able to go into an art store and spend less than $20? No? Guess I'm better than you. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong receipt. That was my that was my key food receipt. Blick, $21.80. So I'm bitches. I'm bitches who can't walk into a Blick and spend less than 20. It's cause that paintbrush. That's funny. And then on the way home, I had to stop by my pharmacy to pick up my pills. Let me tell you, this is crazy. If you're in the United States, actually, I've talked to people who are in the United States and didn't know that this is a thing. But for some context, I quit my job months ago. I am now part of the healthcare marketplace, the famous healthcare.gov, because it is like half the price of what it would be if I continued paying Cobra. And if you're not in the US, Cobra is the bad guys in G.I. Joe. But also it's a law that if you were to leave your employer, you can continue the insurance plan you had with your employer, except that you have to pay the premium. So when I left, I knew I wanted to stick with my current status quo insurance throughout the rest of the year because I didn't want to change providers. It's like a lot as I'm going through now. So I paid my health insurance premium as if I were still at Fastly for a few months, but it's very expensive, like way more expensive than you getting your own insurance plan. And so for the new year, you in the US, you have open enrollment until I think mid-January might be one of the deadlines. Anyway, at that point, you have to kind of shit or get off the pot. Like, I had to decide, am I going to do Cobra throughout all of 2025? Or will I enter the healthcare marketplace of ideas and triumphs and pay less for my own plan, but then have to deal with the fact that, like, these insurance plans blow. I live in New Jersey, and so any provider I had in the city, even though it's probably closer to me than other providers, no longer takes my, like, new insurance. Fortunately, my endocrinologist is based locally, and that's really all that mattered. But what I didn't know until this process, and I know a lot of things, but there's a lot of things I don't know, is that pharmacies, it's not just doctors have to be in your network, but pharmacies have to be in your network. And in the US, a lot of our retail pharmacies, there's More Perfect Union, I believe, did a video on this, on how well, let's think, there's two popular retail pharmacies that come to mind for me. CVS and Duane Reade or Walgreens. Walgreens, I think, acquired Duane Reade. I don't know. So if I call it Duane Reade is Walgreens. And that's normally where, like, a lot of people in this area go for their pharmaceuticals and also their shampoo. So CVS is a competitor to Walgreens, but CVS also owns Aetna, a major insurance company. I have been getting my pills at Duane Reade for years, over a decade now, well over a decade. And now that Aetna is my insurer, my pharmacy is a competitor. So I had put in a request to my insurer to get me on mail order so that my pills could ship to me directly. Because they offer that. They say it'll be cheaper. Because they want you to do everything through them. And so my options are have them ship it to me, go to a CVS, which I'll get into why I don't want to do that. Or there's other pharmacies, like smaller boutique pharmacies that are in network. I asked my doctor, I was like, hey, you're going to get a request for a mail order. Please accept it. If you didn't get the request, can you send it to this one little pharmacy? And my doctor responded, we got it. Which is unhelpful because a week later, I don't have any info. My mail order's still pending. That boutique pharmacy doesn't have my, like, prescription. But Walgreens still does because I've been getting it renewed forever. So I'm very close to being out of pills, which is, like, fine. Like, I'll be, like, sick, but, like, not, it's not debilitating. But, like, it's annoying. So I went to Walgreens today and got my pills renewed. Because I'm getting it at a competitor, it's altogether like $40 more. So if I got it at, well, I'll just say it. I have two pills. I have thyroid disease. They each normally out of pocket cost $5 with my old insurance. With my new insurance, they also should cost $5 out of pocket each, so $10 a trip monthly. But because I went to a competitor pharmacy, because if I didn't, I'd be without my pills and I'd get sick, I had to spend $40 more. Like, because, like, insurance, like, I'm being penalized by my insurance company for not going to their retail pharmacy. This is extortion at best. It's bullshit. That's what I wanted to vent about. And I was like fuming about it, and then I saw that like all my like glitch app domains are down, and so I was like, you know what? Live, laugh, love. What am I gonna do? I've got one set of pills. I'm gonna be able to pick up my other one tomorrow. Actually, wait. I had to pay $12 for these pills, so that was $7 more. And then I think they said that my other pills tomorrow, which are normally $5 out of pocket, will be like $46. So actually it's more than $40 more. And I can afford it. It's just the principle of it is very like unfair. And it just like goes to show I am not poor by any means, but I am on an insurance plan that you would only be under if you do not have an employer that provides health insurance. So these are like insurance plans that like, there's a lot of jobs in the US that like commonly do not offer like you insurance because they don't have to, like restaurant workers. And in New Jersey, it's illegal to not have insurance. Like when ACA passed, in New Jersey, like, and I don't know if it's the case in New York, but it's not the case everywhere. But in New Jersey, when you do your taxes, you have to prove that you've been insured that whole time. Otherwise, you'll get fined. I don't know how much the fine is, but anyway, it's, you know, it's expensive to not be rich. Which we know this already, but I'm just calling out an example as I've not seen before. I didn't know that pharmacies and network were a thing, and that's because I didn't have to. I've always had a job that gave insurance, or I've gone uninsured. Up until ACA, like I was working academia. I was a graduate assistant and a teaching, like an adjunct. Those don't offer health insurance. Well, they have a health insurance package, but it's like cheaper to not have health insurance. So I was uninsured for quite some time. And then the ACA came into play. I got my first industry job. And that's when I started the world of like employer group insurance. Anyway, Stefan says, I think a lot of YouTubers just want the aesthetics. Do you have a set of Rapidograph pens? I had to get those back in college. Rapidograph pens. I'm not familiar. Let's search. Oh, I know this brand. Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. Make more art, spend less money. With $167. Damn. Handle like a pencil, moving in all directions without snagging or digging into the surface. Interesting. I've never used these before. Are they like fine liners? I've not gotten into the like refillable marker space because I don't work with markers all that much. But I do have I had a subscription to an art box. Actually, let me see if I can find the URL. Art box. It might just be called Artbox. Let's see. Upcrate. Crate box. So a couple of years ago, I subscribed to this. It's a German company, but every month you get a box with curated art supplies tied to an artist, and basically the supplies are themed after the art style of that artist, and they're pretty affordable. It's like $30-40. The subscription is €24. I don't know what that is in US dollars right now. It's generally the same. Yeah. If you want to buy past boxes, they're a little bit more money, as you can see, like $30-40. But I did this for like a year, and then when I moved here a couple years ago, to this place, I canceled it because I was like, I have enough art supplies. I think I've given away art supplies that I've not planned on using, and I decided to sign back up for Upcrate, because I've liked the last few boxes that they've had. Let's see some examples. So through Upcrate, I have markers, and I say you do get like good value for it. Seven says, I don't recommend this pens unless you're a graphic designer in the 80s. If you were a graphic designer in the 80s, you would probably also own an airbrush gun, because that was when airbrushing was starting to take over the graphic design space, which is cool. Although at the time, if you had an airbrush, you were seen as a photo the airbrush is used for airbrushing photographs, which was looked down upon in like the graphic design world. This is just through me reading books on the history of airbrush. Actually, there's a Live Laugh blog post where I talk about some books, some airbrush books that I've... Of course, that domain's going to be down. I think this is how I'm going to end up spending the rest of my afternoon. I wrote a blog post going over my airbrush library. There's just a bunch of books here that go into like the how-to, but like more importantly, the history and style of airbrush. And this book in particular, Air Powered, there's like little biographies of old graphic designers that used airbrush, and so it just like kind of talked about, and it was from like the mid or late 70s. Was it? Oh yeah, the book was written in 1979, and predicted that airbrush would completely evolve the advertising industry through the 80s. They had no idea computers were coming. Anyway, I feel like designers and illustrators that were using those pens were probably looking down on the airbrush artists, not realizing that it would start to take over their world. And it was like the artists who embraced the tool and wanted to play around with it that ended up creating iconic advertising work. This is Peter Sato. It's my favorite airbrush artist. But yeah, not really all that into markers. You know what I do like? I like, and I just realized I was scrolling through my blog and not showing my screen. I recently got Posca markers. I got like they were like dirt cheap. It was like on sale back in like November, and I've really enjoyed working with these, in particular for doing figure drawing, or I like to draw skulls too, for figure drawing, for like the 30-second and 1 minute sessions where you're doing it like really quick. I found that like recently, I just found out recently that in doing with markers, I complete more. Whereas if I do it with a paintbrush, like I've been doing for some of these like 5-minute sessions, the paintbrush, I get like in the weeds on shadowing and stuff, which is great for 5+ minute figure sessions, but for under 5 minutes, it's like you're just trying to get the body shape. And so I found that like using the paint markers, I'm less precious about that. And they're cheap and they're fun, and then I got some markers from the old Uncrate boxes. I don't have any here. I might have given them away. But yeah. Don't spend too much money on markers. They dry out. Also, oh my gosh, I saw this YouTube video of this artist who, when Copic markers, which I have some Copic markers, I got myself for my birthday a bajillion years ago. I just tested them out after I saw this video, but I have skin tone Copic markers. Copic markers are alcohol ink. They blend, the colors blend with each other really well. It's almost magical. They are expensive. Actually, I bought this when we still had a little art store in Jersey City, which it closed down, and I just saw like a week ago that there's like a whole high rise in the lot where this tiny little art store used to be. Copic markers are not cheap. Let's see. But they're refillable. 358 colors. 2,000. Oh, that's on Etsy. I wouldn't buy my markers on Etsy. That's a little weird. Let's see. How much do you actually cost? What store is this? What's Simon S? Simon Says stamp. Copic Chow, my first Copic. Okay, so these are entry level 12 marker set. These two are like liners here, the black and the brown, for $57. So like compare that to a marker set from Crayola. They're expensive. Oh, this is the ones that I have on Etsy. Okay, $30 for 6 markers. The blending is so great though, and I kind of moved away from using flesh tone in my figures. It's kind of like if you ever go into like a sex shop and you look at the devices, when they're normal skin tone, it's very weird. But like when they're purple and green, it feels less weird. And that's why like a lot of toys come in non-flesh tone colors. It's just like inclusive to exclude human flesh. It's just a very interesting thing. And I found this same is for like figure drawings, like just not, you know, drawing all that much. But yeah. Oh, I have one more thing I want to share with you, and actually this is like a big deal. My coffee is cold already. I have a wax melter now. This is a 2-auto wax melting furnace. This is something that I've been wanting to get for years. Not this particular one. I didn't have a particular one in mind. I just knew that like the way that I've been making candles now is melting each small batch on a double boiler on the kitchen stove, and then like mixing it and then pouring it and then going back and like melting stuff all over again. And my sessions were long but not productive because of this painstaking double boiling process. So then I started researching wax melters, and everything kept coming down to the 2 auto. Can you guess what color I chose? There's green, pink, and black. I'm gonna unbox it. I picked a color, but who knows? Maybe they decided, no, you're gonna get a different color. Let's find out. Where are my scissors? I'm gonna have to use a nail clipper. So I found about this one. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos of people who own candle stores. I'm not planning to own a candle store, but I am planning to make more candles and sell them. And a lot of them were using like industrial melters. Someone said no purple, what a ripoff. Honestly, it's actually surprising the colorway of this. Ooh. Okay. So yeah, there's no purple, but green. It's so cute. The whole the box, by the way, they ship this raw. There's no box around this box. This is like what showed up on my stoop. That's like been happening a lot. I understand it like probably saves packaging, and because of capitalism you gotta squeeze out every potential penny to save, but also like people do be stealing stuff off of porches. So the box said it was 9 pounds. I couldn't tell you if that's what it is because I'm very strong, so 9 pounds is like nothing to me. It's light. It's very light. I'm just removing the plastic. I can't lower my computer down anymore. What's cool about the melter is that you fill it up. It could hold 4 quarts. I think it's like wax is like spinach cooked. Like it takes like you can put in like a house full of spinach into a pot and cook it, and out will come like a handful of cooked spinach. The same is for wax. Like you can have like a 10-pound bag of wax. This could probably fit like, I think someone said 6 pounds of wax. Now you can't fit all 6 pounds all at once into here. Maybe 6 pounds melted. But what is great about this is I can fill this with wax, and then when I'm done with my session, I can turn it off. And then the next day, when I want to make more candles, I can just turn it on and remelt all the wax. So it's just like a convenient vessel. It's also very light. That's nice. I'm glad it's not... I have to install the spigot, but it has a lid. It's like a rice cooker lid. Yeah, and this could like sit in like our kitchen. We have to figure out what outlet to put it in because the outlets in our place are very strange. Like if I like we've been trying to debug like which outlets are connected to each other, because sometimes like I'll be making tea and it will turn my computer off. I'm like, oh, okay, these are connected. But it's like neat. It can sit on my desk, and I don't know. I'm just excited about it. I think Andy got it for me. I'm calling this my birthday gift. I think it was like $60 or $70. White gloves. Why? I don't know. the little faucet thing. Washer and stuff, so I'm gonna put these back in here. But I'll install it later and set it up. We gotta put these gloves on. I don't know why these came with white gloves, but I'm putting them on. They're not these are not for my ginormous hands. My fingers start like right here. Okay, let's see what these gloves are for. 2 auto wax melting furnace instruction. This is not going to be in like English that makes sense, I don't think. Let's see. Okay, they're showing stuff melted. If you want to make candles more fragrant. Oh, they go into like how to make a candle. Cleaning machine. Let's see. Whenever cleaning anything when it comes to candles, whether it's like a vessel that you're pouring into or like a mold, rubbing alcohol. That's what you use. Now it's got like a maintenance thing. I cannot turn the pages because I'm wearing these fucking gloves that I don't know why I have them and they don't fit in my hand. How much soy wax can this machine hold? Unmelted soy wax filled with about 3.2 kilograms, 7 pounds. Literally no mention of the gloves. Also, this booklet is half English, half German. This is a Chinese brand. Also, I wanted to get one of these before the tariffs. Because who knows how that performative, unnecessary, harmful bullshit will impact everything. Yeah, there's no reason. I don't know why these gloves are in here, but my hands are too big for them. Anyway. Ugh. I'll play around with this some other time. And the candles I've been making. So I might have showed this on a previous stream. I'm making eggs. Here's an egg candle. Yolk. Egg white. Little wick here. I dropped all my candles, remember, a few weeks ago, and so this is all chipped up. But then I started making yolk candles a couple of days ago, and the red dye is very, very strong. And so I made the yolks a little bit too orange. They came out like this, which is a bit too orange. This is a bit more of what I'm going for. This looks more like egg yolk color. This one doesn't. So I remelted a bunch of these and added like brighter yellow wax. And I melted a few old candles that had broken when I dropped them. And I had a green base. And so I poured the green base in the mold. I popped the yolks, and I have a few smaller spheres because I got some new molds. Someone says I've seen yolks that color. Yeah, Andy said that those are upstate eggs. So I put a couple of them in these molds and then poured green that I reused. And so these are my rotten eggs. And so what I'll be doing today is putting wicks in the yolks here and seeing how that will work. So I'll have rotten egg candles. And the idea is that I will make a bunch of each of these different types of candles that I've been making and then figure out what kind of online shopping platform I want to use. I'm not going to use Etsy. I don't want to use Shopify. I think that Toby, the CEO of Shopify, is a huge fucking dork. And I have my own personal reasons for that. But also, he's a fucking dork. And so I'd like to avoid using Shopify if possible. And maybe just saying that, he'll hear about it. He knows I don't like him. Maybe I'll be banned. Another candle that I made, well, I had one of these purple cloud ones that I made, and I just stuck it in a mold and poured blue wax over it. And then I have a little thing here that I'm gonna wick this, and it's like a sunset. I think that's cute. So just kind of like assemble some of those pieces and put it together. Now, I'm not going to be able to use the wax melter to reheat wax that I've already colored and stuff because that would be a pain in the butt. I'll still use a double boiler for that. But for new candles I make, I'll melt them in the wax boiler, pour it into I have like a metal cup container, measuring cup, and then in there I'll add the dye, and if I'm using fragrance, I haven't used fragrance with these, but then I'll mix it and then pour it into the mold. So the wax melter is just for pure soy wax only. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Good stuff. Let's see. Gotta be honest with you, I'm really hungry and I have to figure out this website stuff. Wait, is something happening? Ah. No. No, alas. I think I'm gonna call it. I know this is a short one, but how long have I been streaming? A little over an hour. I think I'm gonna go. I have to figure out. The status page says it will take a few days. I guess I should just go to my domain provider and just set up forwards to a glitch app. Not streaming long enough for your test to pass. Listen, your tests are not gonna pass just because I'm still streaming. You gotta comment out the part of the test that's failing, and then your test will pass. I don't need to stream to tell you that. Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, do I set up, I think at least for make 8-bit art, I don't want to, like, God, I hate DNS so fucking much. DNS is too hard, it's too brittle, and these domain providers are price gouging domains. I was looking at domains the other day for like my candle making stuff. Like I have like a name for like the brand all set out, and I was able to find affordable domains, but some of these TLDs are insane. Like I've already vented about .kitchen being like $60, or maybe it's more, 30 or 40, I forget, but I had to let 2 .kitchen domains lapse because I was not spending $120 to renew them. Yeah, this is nonsense. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I think there's a sandwich for me. I'm hungry. And I'm gonna make some of these candles and figure out this glitch app domain situation. I want the kids to have their pixel art. That's what I feel bad about. I'm like, these kids they want to make their pixel art and they go and they see this weird fucking error. I'm gonna go set up a forward for that so they can still have it. And also I have to look at what other apps from other people. Like I set up Andy's website and domain on Glitch and now it's down. We gotta figure out how to do that. I don't want to like, when I first saw domains down, I was like, I hope legacy domains aren't permanently broken and I gotta use Cloudflare. But I think Cloudflare would be an issue. One, because I fucking hate Cloudflare and I think that company sucks. But any alternative wouldn't work because it appears it's a glitch as an origin issue because the Fastly domains are not working either. Anyway, I'm gonna go figure that out by eating first, so I'm not hangry while I'm figuring it out. But thank you for joining me. Thanks, Stefan, for chatting with me. And like and subscribe. I'll be back next Wednesday, maybe even before. If I can get this wax melter set up nicely, I might be able to do a session where I'm over there in my candle making session and maybe show y'all how I paint and make candles. That might be nice. But yeah, in the meantime, I hope you have a good day. And if you're not having a good day, I hope it gets better. Yeah, I'll see you on glitchandyoutube.com.